Hey guys, what's up? And today I'm going to be pulling out an old product that I haven't worked on in probably around a year or so, and it hasn't really seen any action in a long time. So I figured we can pull it out and do a before video, so that way as we continue the process we could see some progress. So the main reason for pulling this guy out is to do a before video because I wanted to potentially work on this blaster for a Nerf subreddit competition that's going on currently. They're having one where it's to finish a project that's less than 60% complete. So I would say this guy is definitely qualifies because it still hasn't even been tacked together, and I still need to figure out what all the pieces I need to use are before I even get into any of the bodywork. The painting process, I wanted to do some LEDs with this guy, maybe do other cosmetic stuff, and then the wiring and all that jazz. So I think it definitely qualifies for less than 60%, but I figured it'd be good to show a before video, so that way maybe we could do some in-progress shots as we go, and then we can go from there. So some of you guys may have seen this at FoamCon 2019, and I had this at my booth just to show it off. It actually probably is in worse condition than when I showed it off there. At least I had some of these pieces tacked together with hot glue, but in the process of shipping my blasters back and forth, this one was at the bottom and it sort of took the brunt of the impact, which is fine because I had some of my other blasters like Prism that I worked really hard on wrapped in much more bubble wrap, and they made it fine. So this guy sort of just got thrown in and was a little beat up because of that. So some things that might be different from that, where I had this piece sort of tacked in the front with a little bit of hot glue. So we got something maybe like that going on as our front profile. I wanted to take these other bits from the long shot front gun and sort of tie it in, and that will hopefully go back to there. And then some other bits in the back that also fell off. Those weren't really too attached. I think the next thing I need to work on primarily is this front area, so I'll do a quick zoom up. So this is sort of the profile that we're working with right now. One thing I think I need to do is either add a tactical grip up here or a rail of some sort. That really doesn't provide enough of a grip space, and this is a fairly large blaster, especially in the front area. So I want to have a nice beefy hand grip that would be comfortable to use. So my plans for this were I was either going to build this up somehow, like that, and then just make it more of a nub, but I also found that that might not be too comfortable. So I think either I'm going to add a rail up here and add like a angled or vertical foregrip, which might be a good option to just throw like a small piece of Picatinny on the front, or I can try to maybe build this up into a slanted ramp of some sort that goes down a bit further. That might have a cool profile, but I think what I'm going to do right now is just tack this guy back together, and then we can see if there's either A, something we can harvest from another blaster to sort of build that up, or a plan B, like I said, maybe we'll modify this front a bit. There's some angles here, but maybe we could build it out to be a bit straighter, and then we could throw a Picatinny grip on there. I'm really happy with how this top area looks now that this matches up on the front, now that I've trimmed that back. As you can see here, I just sort of cut it flat right at the bottom of that angle, and then I brought that guy back a little bit, so now the angle goes really smoothly from there and then up and over. So I'm going to end up filling this guy once I get everything fully assembled. I should probably mention that my process for this is generally tack everything together with hot glue just to make sure that it fits well together. And then from there, I'll go and use like plastic welding epoxy to hold everything together a bit more solidly. So right now I'm still in that sort of tacking things together stage. This area up here is one that I need to work on a lot. It's got a lot going on, but I think what I want to do is sort of go along this line and trim out part of that Rapidstrike shell, and then I'll probably have to make some sort of joining factor between those two. But then you sort of have a pseudo jam door that you can still sort of see the blaster working on the inside and potentially reach your fingers in, get any jams. I might have to actually add a jam door to this blaster, possibly on the other side, maybe something like a Raider. I was thinking when I was working on this a while ago, just because there is quite a long section of barrel in this Bullpup, and I think it'd be a real pain to unjam just due to the nature of how this blaster is laid out currently. So I might need something like that just in case I get one bad dart. I'm not completely incapacitated. Especially too because it's likely that I'll have to putty over this whole area and make this flat, removing the Rapidstrike jam door completely. So I'm going to probably need something to potentially unjam the blaster. So like I said, maybe a Raider, like a slide door sort of thing going on, either on this side or most likely the other side. I'm pretty happy with how this Raven handle lines up right here. I might add like a rail or something to this large flat area just to sort of blend it in a bit better, because I'm going to have to do some putty work to blend this guy into the Raven shell a bit more. So that might help a bit and distract you from that sort of line right there. But there's going to be a lot of epoxy and sanding that goes into this section, especially like I mentioned, if I take this guy and it's going to sit somewhere around there. So I'm going to have to build this area up to sort of bridge that gap. So that'll sort of potentially work over there. I'm pretty happy with the handle. I might end up shaving some of these little details off depending on what I do in the back over here. So one thing that I need to do is make a spot for the electronics and for the batteries. So I actually bought one of these Rapidstrike control boards. That's the Select Fire one. So that it can actually sit up here. It's designed for the Rapidstrike specifically. So that'll probably eliminate some need for electronics. But I think, I don't really remember because I haven't worked on this in a while, but I was probably going to bridge this gap somehow to go, maybe make a little bit of a flared magwell sort of come down. But I think I would like to go off of this corner of the blaster or somewhere over here and come over, and then that'll give me this whole chunk back here to potentially put my battery and some extra electronics. One big challenge I had with this blaster, and I still don't really know what to do, is this back section is very thick, and that doesn't lean well towards stocks. A lot of them are pretty small. So what I had in my box of parts, which I guess I was playing with before, was this section of the Firefly, and that back stock, though it doesn't really match with the blaster, to be honest. This back piece, I cut out the actual Firefly stock piece that didn't match, but this piece in particular might help to transition because it's very thick. And then I was thinking about maybe inlaying something like this is a Paraxis stock. They're very comfortable, so I might be able to work this into something usable, but it's going to need a lot of work. I think it might need a different piece to transition, to be honest. But this one isn't too bad of an option. It's going to be that's going to be a major challenge with this blaster, though, is this back area going from a relatively thick cross section to something a little bit thinner and more comfortable. So that's sort of the state of this blaster currently. It hasn't really changed too much in the last year, and it's been just sitting on a shelf in the back. So I figured this is probably the best opportunity to finish up this blaster. So I have until July, I guess, which is plenty of time. But I find with integrations too, especially when you get to the sanding stage, it can take quite a while. So I should really get started on that. So I'm going to get back to tacking this together, hopefully, and maybe we'll get another update in a few weeks or so when I've made some significant progress. If you guys have any suggestions too for parts or things that you might think would look cool, especially towards, the back end of the blaster where it's not really as fleshed out, I would really appreciate some comments in the comment section down below. As always, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video.